one of the things that is very apparent is that actually, what does good look like? It's one of the questions people ask me all the time, because so it's often, who do you go to? Who do you ask? What websites are good? Because we're all in our own little environment. We probably think of websites that we use on a day-to-day basis, whether it's shopping, whether it's social media, whether it's watching telly, whether it's watching films on catch-up, Netflix, Amazon. There's lots of sites that we use that actually we think are really good, but we always come back to what does good look in career sites. And that's one of the things I want to get through at the end of this. So, 3 things that a career site needs to have. It needs to have visible, accessible jobs. This is your shop window. Your product is jobs. They need to be visible and accessible. It also needs to be a hub of everything that you do. I know a lot of people will be engaged in social media, whether it's LinkedIn, whether it's Instagram, whether it's Facebook, whether it's Twitter, whether it's Stack Overflow. You're managing content on a multitude of platforms. That's tiring, time-consuming, and it's not effective. Everything should start and end at your career site, because at the end of the day, that's where the content should be, should go out into social media and bring people back to the career site. And finally, when they come to your career site, it should be a seamless journey, whether they've landed on a blog, a video, a job, the homepage, a landing page, wherever they've landed, it needs to be a seamless experience through to whatever they want to do, whether that's setting up, they want to connect with you just to get information, or whether they actually want to apply for a job. If there's one thing you take away from today above all others, job search equals shopping. We shop for jobs in the same way as we shop for a product. Reviews, opinions, information, it's very similar. We shop for jobs. Your ATS and website don't always talk. So we've got some well-known websites here in terms of ATS platforms. Ernst Young, B&Q, S&C Lavalin, Owen Atkins. We've got Michelin Tires, Mondelez, Cadbury's, and Worley Parsons are big in the energy market. So we've got Taleo, Avature, Workday, and iSIMS there in terms of this is their standard web module. And there's one thing that's common on here, is that all of these all of these jobs sit on the ATS platform. They don't sit on your career site. And what that means is basically Google can't see your jobs. So here's an example. So this is Vodafone career site, two years ago. And you probably can't read it, but Google could see 16 pages on their career site. This is a company that employ tens of thousands of people in the UK, but actually Google only thinks it's got 16 pages. So not very important. This one here is basically what Google sees today, 3,720 pages. Now, a lot of the pages on Vodafone's career site are vacancies, obviously. And a lot of those vacancies are retail jobs, which are actually the same. And Google basically sees those effectively as duplicates, so ignores, just has one, so it doesn't register them all. But from Google's perspective, the difference in these two sites is immense. This site is seen as important. This site is inconsequential. Your jobs need to be on your career site domain. It's a bit like having, we talked to, River Island. It's a bit like River Island having all of their products on their stock ordering system rather than on their website. It's never going to work. This is what a domain should look like. Should be, it's Icon PLC. It's the career site, and this is the actual job. So you can see, it's a director of clinical operations, and it's a job. This is the job ID. So Google can find that, make life easy for Google. Don't make it difficult. So there are applicant tracking systems, there are career sites, that the jobs do sit on the actual website domain of the career site. So we've got Chewy, we've got Virgin Media, and the AA. So if we look at the AA one, look at what the job says. It's job details, ID 55894. How's Google going to work out that that's actually account manager sales? Now, it will, but it's not so easy. So if you've got the actual job title in the web address, and you've got the job title in the page, it all starts linking together. And this is really important when it comes down to Google for Jobs. Because if Google can't easily find your jobs, this is what happens. Forget the actual logos and the difference in logos, but actually look at the jobs that are appearing. And we had this debate when Google for Jobs launched. People were going, great! My jobs are in Google for jobs. And they go, yeah, it's Total Jobs, it's Glassdoor, it's LinkedIn, it's CV Library. So actually you're having to pay for your jobs to appear in Google for Jobs. Wouldn't it be better if your jobs appeared in Google for Jobs? Because when somebody clicks on that job, where's my career site? Google for Jobs is really good at bringing pages together and bringing jobs together so there aren't duplicates. Now, you've got 4 jobs there, probably were advertised on all those job boards, so Google's brought them together as one. So it's a case of, if your jobs can be found by Google, when somebody types in AA Careers or we got Customer Sales Advisor AA or Customer Sales Advisor Basingstoke, that job's going to appear in Google for Jobs. It's going to come back to your career site relatively free. You haven't had to pay for that advertising. So in the US, on January the 7th, recruitment agencies were blocked from advertising free on Indeed. And they can only spend on promoted posts in Indeed. So you've got a lot of agencies having to spend an awful lot of money, but what the good thing is that employers, it's still free. If, like a Google, your jobs are optimized for Indeed and they're easy for it to pick up. In the UK, we were expecting this to happen in the next 6 months. And free listings at the moment convert into applications at 25 to 40%. So it's generating good quality traffic for them, which will go. But for employers, you will now have that benefit because you will be the only people appearing in Indeed organic listings. So when it comes down to a visitor, I won't talk to them about candidates because actually we've got people who are actively looking for jobs, we've got people that you're engaging with on maybe social media and driving back to the career site that aren't necessarily looking for a job at this point. So they are visitors. So the first thing you need to do is make life easy for them. So front and centre search, as Kate mentioned and we mentioned with Vodafone, browse search, make it easy for people to get into particular areas. Tell them about that. This is the landing pages Kate was talking about. Get relevant jobs onto that page. Make it easy for them to find what they're looking for, whether they need to refine by location or salary. And at the bottom, put some stories. These are the stories we've been talking about, your employer brand. And then when somebody clicks through to a vacancy, again, controversial it may be, but candidates want to know who they're talking to in terms of the recruiter. They may want to reach out. If you're recruiting Scrum Masters, you may want them to actually reach out to you before actually applying. So make it easy for them to connect. So, okay, for the number 1 brand, all you need to do is stick a button, apply here. That's it. You don't need to worry about anything else. Everybody else needs to actually look at attracting and engaging people. And that was one of the biggest questions that came through in terms of how do I get visibility? How do I get my brand out there? And actually, it's quite simple. You just need to sit back and actually think about it. So it's understanding your audience, who you're actually looking to target, who you're actually looking to talk to, who you're communicating with. Find out where they hang out. Do they hang out on Twitter? Do they hang out on Facebook? Do they hang out on very techie-orientated forums? Or are they on LinkedIn? Or are they not on social at all? But actually, they drive past the same billboard next to a big retail park where the call centre is every day. Once you know your audience and where they hang out, you can start actually thinking about content that will actually engage with them, and you can try and make that connection. It's a bit like speed dating. You try and find out exactly what somebody's interested in, and then you start telling your story or talking about things that are relevant, and actually you find that common ground. And then once you've got that common ground, you start to try and influence them to use you. And the good news is, you've got lots of people you can talk to. At the end of the day, as employers, whether you are 50, whether you're 500, whether you're 5,000, whether you're 50,000, you can go out and actually talk to these people. You can actually go and talk to the HR team. You can go and talk to the digital team. You can go and talk to procurement, retail, sales, contact centres. You can find out what makes them tick and why they do, as Kate said, why they do what they do for your company. What keeps them there? What made them join? What was their experience on coming from candidate to employee? It's all things that you can start asking. And you talk to people all the time. So it's the little snippets you start picking up as you're doing your daily data job. When you're talking to hiring managers, ask a hiring manager, why should somebody want to work for you? So whether it's about flexible working, whether it's about career paths, or whether it's showing diversity in terms of reflecting on Ramadan within the business. A big engineering consultancy is quite traditional when you think about it, but actually they've got a huge cultural diversity underneath that nobody really knows about. And then it comes back about telling those stories. So a day in the life of a flexible worker. And this provides you with content to manage social. So a number of people said, social is really difficult because we haven't got control, comms rule it and everything else. Well, once you've got great content, you've actually then got good stories that comms have actually probably signed off on because they probably wanted to start with. They'll probably trust you after a few months of saying, oh, these are really good. Suddenly you've got stories that actually showcase the business in a good light. So it's a case of getting that balance in terms of putting content out, and if you work it well, you can basically use it to run campaigns. So, Life as an account manager at Empower, they needed to recruit a load of account managers in Solihull. So they went out and we created quite a lot of content around what it was like to be an account manager. And then, as part of that came, once we posted 2, 3, 4, targeted using Facebook advertising, because you can go right down to particular niches, job titles, locations, we then dropped a job in. And 33,000 people it reached, 52 likes, comments and shares, but the big one is 569 clicks through to the actual job. So it was a really good way of getting people engaged that are of the right type of person and then dropping a vacancy in. It's the same way consumer marketing. Think about Apple. They put up a great hype and everything else about the new iPhone, and then there's a big button, buy. And you're so excited you buy and then realise how much it costs. Or you can't actually convince your Carphone warehouse to reduce the price. But what does that mean? So social traffic to the Empower site is 10%. Okay, 10% of their traffic comes to the website. And the application rate of that traffic is 8%. Now, the average industry application rate across all agencies, job boards, and everything else is between 6 and 8%. We're getting what is essentially a passive audience at 8%. These are people that may not have actually thought about a job, and they're converting into an application. So it's actually, if you get the engagement right, you can actually turn it into effectively good quality applications and ultimately hires, because they know about your business. Because 20% of people on the sites that we look after apply for a job. How do we get more of that 80% that's relevant? So actually, let's look at retail, what they do. Everybody's used Amazon, I expect. And Amazon's pretty good at putting in front of you, you looked at this, you bought this, you should buy this. In fact, Amazon on an app is extremely dangerous because it's so quick to buy, because it's putting stuff in front of you. So it's about personalizing and contextualizing products, information, and putting it in front of you, because that hopefully will start increasing the quality and number of applications. Personalizing it can be as simple as capturing their name. Capturing the name, so every time they come back to the site, we put on the latest jobs, hi Andrew, here are some latest jobs. Hi Andrew, here's some, you were looking at HR jobs before. Here's some people that have joined recently in our HR team talking about it. Start taking that Amazon effect and making your career site change content based on what somebody's actually looking at, where they are in the world, where they are in the UK. You've now created a website. You've got your jobs are visible by Google and Google for Jobs. They're easy to find. You've got created great content. You're engaging. You create a personalized experience. Now don't fall at the last hurdle when somebody actually comes to click apply. 50 to 80% of people abandon their application at this point. Imagine if we were selling products. We'd get shot. So it's about solving that and fixing that solution and getting your career site talking to your applicant tracking system. And I was telling somebody earlier, I used to work with applicant tracking systems. I used to get the tender documents. And it would say, is your applicant tracking system web enabled? Tick. That was it. Not a case of what will it do. An applicant tracking system, by its very nature, is designed to manage the application process, whether that's from requisition, sign-off, authorization, through to actual final stages. It's designed to do a process. It's not a website. It's not a career site. It may have a portal that allows you to search jobs, but this is the big problem, is it's a case of it's thinking of it as you're registered. SuccessFactors, German, part of SAP. It's a different culture. People they work for life and everything, and more likely to be logged in.